Well, hello everyone out there. It's Sunday in time for a new episode of Record Collecting with the Quill. Today we're doing great drumming albums. As a bass player, I love listening to great drummers, and a great drummer can be a lot of different things. It can be a busy drummer with great chops, but you can also have really cool drummers just playing good beats. And whatever suits the song, I guess, is the way to go. So I decided to pick out some of my favorite drumming albums, as I said, from kind of a couple of different perspectives as well. Starting out with the king of groove and the best, one of my favorite drummers of all time, Phil Rudd, Mr. Phil Rudd from AC/DC, and I've decided to go with the Power Age album. Probably my favorite AC/DC album. This is a really nice Australian edition I got, Power Age. The reason, I mean, this album swings a lot, and I think I would like to think it has a little bit to do with it being the first album Cliff Williams is playing bass on as well, but Phil Rudd is, this album swings, so it's a fantastic album from that point of view. And also Phil Rudd, he's the guy who always played the right thing for the right song, never been a guy who's been into a lot of fills and stuff. Just concentrate on a steady groove, making the songs, all the AC/DC songs, swing. And you could tell when he was out of the band, they missed something important from the sound. So first pick, AC/DC, Power Age, of course. Then we're heading on to, I think we will do maybe this one. We'll do this one. This is probably one of my all-time, or it is my favorite album of all time. Captain Beyond is, for those of you who's not familiar with them, they made 3 albums. This one being the first, with drummer Bobby Caldwell. He came from playing with Johnny Winter when he teamed up with Rod Evans, just been booted out of Deep Purple, and also Lee and Rhino came from Iron Butterfly. And this is the first album they did. This, I have, I don't know, 7 or 8 different copies of this one. This is being the 3D cover. I have a couple of Japanese pressings and some other pressings as well. Bobby Caldwell, what could you say about him? Well, he's arguably one of the best drummers ever. He's fast. There's a lot of different time signatures on this album, and he plays really cool. Sometimes I tend to, when bands playing different time signatures, the songs can be sound a little bit, I don't know, you miss out on a certain flow or something, but he's fantastic on this album. And if you haven't heard it, check it out. I will post some songs as usual on the Spotify playlist. This album is not on Spotify, but I think there's at least one track from it, but otherwise check it out on YouTube or something, because it's a fantastic album. Captain Beyond, Bobby Caldwell, fantastic drummer. The Bobby Caldwell, he's a busy drummer. This is the total opposite, and free. And I've decided to go with the Fire and Water album. Simon Kirke is a drummer with a totally different approach. He plays exactly what the song needs and nothing more. He's laid back, and here it's all about the space in between, I would say. And this album is fantastic in that way. I would say greatly underrated drummer, but I always enjoyed his playing because there's so much space in between everything. It breathes, and also the other guys in the band, Andy and Paul Kossoff, was fantastic in that way as well. Love Free, hugely underrated band. I'm going back and forth between busy drummers and laid back drummers, but you can't do an episode about great drumming albums without having at least one Rush album. Neil Peart was a fantastic drummer, creative, and doing a lot of unmatched stuff. You hear immediately whenever it's Neil drumming. I decided to go with this one. This was the first one I ever heard. This is an old beaten copy I got as a kid. Of Farewell to Kings. I'm especially fond of Xanadu, the long track on this one. Some fantastic drumming. There's also a little photo on this one as well, if you haven't seen it. Oh, there they are. And then for some heavier stuff, if you're into drumming, hard rock is probably the style to listen to the most. And one album I think it's really important for hard rock and heavy metal drumming is this one, Painkiller by Judas Priest. The first album they did with Scott Travis on drums. I guess it had a huge impact on the way to play heavy drums. I think this is one of my favorite Judas Priest albums. I know it's debated, but I really enjoy this one, and mainly because of Scott's drumming. It's fantastic. This is what heavy metal drumming should sound like, and there's some really strong tracks on this one as well. But the opening drum intro to Painkiller, it's such a perfect fit for the whole start of the album, I guess. So cool one. This one is kind of hard getting on vinyl. I managed to track it down a couple of years ago. I will try to remove this sticker someday when I'm feeling I'm lucky, because it's usually a little bit difficult, but I have my tricks. Next one came a couple of years after Painkiller. Is this one actually, the Motley Crue CD they did with John Corabi. I have a signed copy here. I met John Corabi a bunch of years ago. I really like this one. I think this is the best Motley Crue album of them all. John Corabi singing is a totally different approach, and I get why they didn't have any success with this album, because I guess the regular Motley Crue fans were confused by this, because this is something totally different. It's a shame that actually they didn't change the name and released it under a different name, because it's so great. And Tommy Lee's drumming on this one is fantastic. There's some great tracks. I think the best one is probably Misunderstood, and I really like Hooligan's Holiday as well. Cool drum sound on this one, huge drum sound. So a great drumming album. If you haven't heard it, give it a spin. And my next last choice for great drumming albums is something more recent, from recent years. This one, Mastodon, The Hunter. This is a band I really enjoy following. I think they're really creative in what they do in their songwriting and in their general output as well. One of those bands I hope they will continue for a long time. And the drummer here, Brand Daler, is I would say like an octopus, and he's also singing quite a lot, which makes it even more impressive. I've seen them live a couple of times, and he's a real powerhouse drummer and a huge part of Mastodon's sound. The standout tracks here out for me are the first two ones, Black Tongue and also Curl of the Burl. Some impressive drumming and some great singing as well from it. So if you haven't heard them, check them out. They have a lot of fun and cool videos as well on YouTube. They have a sort of a humorous approach to doing videos, which I'm quite fond of, actually. I think they're doing a lot of fun stuff, not taking themselves too seriously. And a great band in general. If you haven't heard them, check them out. It's a sort of really heavy, I guess, which we all like, don't we? So that was I think it was 7 favorite drumming albums. I would love to hear what are your favorite ones. There's some obvious ones I didn't pick any Cossack Powell albums, no John Bonham, no Ian Pace, because those are the ones usually mentioned. So I decided to go a little bit of a different route today. But of course I love, probably the best drumming album all time for me is Made in Japan with Deep Purple. Ian's drumming there is he's peaking right there and then. So I would love to hear your choices. Please write in the comment section, and also make sure to subscribe and share with your friends if you like this kind of stuff, and also follow the Quill on social media. It's the Quill Sweden. We have some cool news for all you Swedes on Tuesday, I believe. Yes, we're having a little bit of an announcement for all Swedish fans. So check out our social media and you'll get some cool news. Well, that's it for now. It's Sunday and it's time to, I don't know, have a cup of tea or something before going to bed, and a new working week tomorrow. Cheers to you all. Thanks for watching, and see you all again next week. Bye.